Hi, chess fans. This is a famous game between Topalov and Shirov from 1998. And the reason why this is famous is because it's often said that in this position, Shirov plays one of the greatest chess moves of all time. And the reason it's considered to be so great, I guess it's a sacrifice, but I guess the reason why he sacrificed here is because it looks very much like Topalov will be able to hang on to a draw in this position, even though Shirov is up two pawns. And it's because of the opposite colored bishops. Opposite colored bishop endings have a tendency to be drawn in a lot of cases. Of course, there's a lot of exceptions to that, so be careful. But more, I guess, about the opposite colored bishop endings after I show you the move. The move that Shirov makes is to sacrifice this bishop. And the idea is now the king is going to come in very, very, very powerful. And the king and the bishop, the white's king and bishop, are not going to be able to stop both of these pawns from becoming a queen. So as the king moves in, um, he's able to force white to give up the bishop. And now this pawn is going to turn into a queen, and white doesn't have any counterplay. White's king is not fast enough to get this pawn and then get these pawns across. So that's what happened in the game. Actually, I think the resign happened here, but just I went through some moves just to show what you would do here in a position like that. But what I wanted this video to be about was not about this brilliant move, but the idea of, okay, prove it to me that this ending is drawn. So what would happen if Shirov had played, instead of the brilliant sacrifice, played the second best move? What everybody says is that, well, this should be a drawn position, right? Well, how do you do it? How do you draw this position? I mean, for grandmasters and masters, it might be a little bit easy. For me, I'm rated 1825 FIDE. Um, I'd be a little bit nervous, but I want to work on this. I want to be able to say, yeah, I can beat anybody with this. I want to be able to say I can beat the world champ, or I could. Sorry, I shouldn't say beat. If I was able to draw a much higher rated player, then I would feel like, yeah, it's a bit of a victory, but it would be a draw. So I decided to practice a little bit. And that's what I want this to be, this video about, because I found plenty of videos on this game, but not on how you would draw anyway. So first thing I did is I got two computers to play each other, and just to show what type of strategies they would employ. So first off, in this position, white wants to trade pawns. Trading pawns as soon as possible is a great idea. If black is up two pawns and white trades his two pawns, well, then black will be still up two pawns, but there'll be only two pawns left. Right now, black has four pawns. If black only had two pawns left, well, the king could take care of one pawn, and the bishop could take care of the other, theoretically. So after this and this, now white just wants to trade one more set of pawns and should be able to draw. But let's see how it worked out there. So you can see that this bishop here is able to defend here and defend here as well. So the king isn't necessarily obligated to go over to stop the a pawn. And so you're seeing that white is just keeping his bishop on that diagonal, and when the king goes to attack the pawn, he just covers. And the bishop will always go back to that pawn. And now, just I guess out of a little bit of desperation, the computer is thinking, okay, well, that's not working. So if I give up this pawn, I can take this pawn. Now we're down to the situation I was talking about. White is going to have his king take care of this corner, and the bishop take care of this pawn. And because it's opposite colored bishops, this bishop can't oppose this bishop. So that's why we have these drawing tendencies. So this is just two supercomputers going at it. And, it's going to be just walking around. Black knows that, if it comes down to here, the bishop's just going to come up like that. And the maneuvering will just go on and on and on and on. So that's the idea of how you would end up drawing it. So what I did, okay, I got two supercomputers to go at each other. Then what I did is I wanted to decide to practice this position against a really, really high rated computer. So it's me against the high rated computer. And I'm sad to say that I made mistakes. Now, I'm going to show you another example of how to draw. So this is me playing against the 3200 rated computer and how I would have to draw. Like I said, I went back and I fixed my mistakes. So here's how this would work. And again, a different variation. Black didn't play the king in here first, so we're not able to do that trade right away that I showed you in the other variation. So instead, though, this was really, really important. Now I did get this part right, but putting my pawns on the opposite color of my bishop. So now these pawns can't be targeted, and the king is kind of free to roam over here, and the bishop can always hopefully be able to come back and defend these pawns if necessary. Okay, so I played through here, and it was an area like this where I made a mistake, where I had to make sure that I brought my king to here at the right moment to prevent his king from getting in there. And now you see that wherever white or wherever black goes, I can always just hang on to this diagonal. And once he comes down here, and this is where I made my mistake, I didn't play this move, and then I lost. So, and I'll go back and show you, but I'll show you these moves quickly now, because once I get to a 50 move repetition with no pawns moved, then the computer automatically makes it a draw. So that's a good thing to know. So this is a draw now after the 50 moves. But I'll show you the mistake that I made. After here, if I don't bring my king here, and let's just say I'm like, I'm just going to keep going with this. Now, he moves his king in here like that. And the idea is now he's going to bring his king here, and then, well, then I'm in big trouble. So if I decide maybe I want to do some counterplay, go over here, and now what do I do? Right, I'm in big trouble now. Can I take here? Oh, he got a discovered check. Moving back. And now this bishop is going to be overworked. You see? Now when I take here, it's check. And now I'm in big trouble, right? This computer is going to be able to win. So just want to show you that you have to be really careful in the opposite colored bishop endings. What I did after that is I decided, okay, a 3200 computer. I mean, okay, maybe that's not realistic. So I decided to play it against a 2100 computer. And what I found, if I go back to that, back to that position again now, where this move is played, I remember the second best move, I was actually able to draw the 2100 computer. Okay, so I played here. Again, it was a slightly different variation, but I traded pawns right away and got my bishop. And just remembering from what I saw before, just getting my bishop to be on that long diagonal and just waiting, just waiting. If if black here ever decides to take the king and go over here, well, then I just take that pawn, right? But in this position, this computer didn't do much of with regards to that, and we ended up in a draw. But you can see that even even against a computer, uh, you know you can draw this position if you know the method. Now, if you put me on the 3200 computer again, I might have difficulty drawing it. But it's the kind of position that if I practice this position again and again, I would just become better at it. It would, and that's the thing about chess. You wanna get some positions and work on them. Some of these theoretical positions, and you'll just become a stronger endgame player. And some of those um, losses could become draws. And then also another thing is when you are able to recognize which opposite colored bishop endings are going to be drawn, well then you might decide, "Oh, I'm not going to trade queens here because I want to win." So these are a lot of things that you can look into. So what I suggest you do is, go to chess.com and go to practice against the computer, set up an opposite colored bishop ending, and see what you can do. Use the hints and practice it. All right. Well, thanks for watching.